Merry Christmas! And in today's video, let's talk about some of our relatively new Christmas traditions. Now, it only makes sense to talk about the 17th century traditions first. We've talked about some of them in some of our previous videos, so I won't be going too in depth, but at least a refresher for those who have heard of them and enough for the unfamiliar to understand. So, we have a few major traditions from the 17th century that happened all across England. The Lord of Misrule, the 12 Days of Christmas, and wassailing. The Lord of Misrule was an individual who was elected on All Hallows Eve, and his responsibility was to lord over Christmas and the revelries. He would assemble a mock court of fools, knights, and musicians, and would have the responsibility of keeping the revelry going for 12 days. And it was 12 days. The season of Christmas was not like today, how it's a build-up, then one day, and then done. It's 12 days of revelry. And the greatest of all was wassailing.
Drink hay!
When a party would go door to door, singing songs, dancing, being loud, asking for wassail, a drink of hot wine or cider mixed with spices, then moving on to the next house. And today, wassailing was replaced by caroling. But these traditions continued until after the Civil Wars, when the Puritans came to power. They essentially banned Christmas, making it a time of solemn prayer and worship, and that's where the break happens. Even when Charles II is restored to the throne, these traditions were never really able to take their place again. And from that point on, England's Christmas traditions struggled. It wasn't until new traditions came from a new dynasty, the House of Hanover. Now, being German, the Hanovers brought with them many new traditions, but the major addition that they brought was the Christmas tree. Now, Christmas tree was a Germanic and Baltic holiday tradition since as early as the 15th century, and was widely popular by the 18th and 19th centuries. Eventually, the Christmas tree was introduced to England and then to North America, with the first documented Christmas tree in Virginia being in the St. George Tucker House in Williamsburg in 1842, introduced by a German tutor. But this is the first recorded. As I mentioned earlier, it had been very popular in Germany for a few centuries before, and German immigrants to North America brought their traditions with them, which most likely included the Christmas tree. But next, let's talk about Santa Claus. Now, Santa Claus was a real 4th century saint, St. Nicholas of Myra, but our Santa Claus is very American and originated from the Dutch traditions of Sinterklaas, described by Washington Irving in 1809, The History of New York. But most importantly, our American Santa Claus first appeared in the 1823 poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas by Clement Clarke Moore. And Thomas Nast gave us our first images in 1863, and Coca-Cola cemented our image of him in the 1930s. Let's talk about music next, because our music tradition is very new. Our most popular non-religious Christmas music is most commonly from the World War II era, with a longing to be home being the prominent fixture of those songs. White Christmas by Irving Berlin was recorded by Bing Crosby and released in 1942. The Little Drummer Boy, while written in 1941, was recorded by the Trapp Family in 1951. And they are still just as popular now as they were then. How many of us still listen to the same Christmas albums as we listened to as children? And a lot of our Christmas traditions are new, coming from many influences or a separation from and longing to be home. But there are, of course, a lot of traditions that are not yet written down. So, while our overarching traditions include the Christmas tree, caroling, popular Christmas music, and Santa Claus, which are all well documented, we ask something of you. Please, in the comments, new or old, share some of your family traditions. We would love to learn about any and all of your wonderful traditions. Thank you for watching, and have a Merry Christmas.